also you mentioned about how science and scientists think that, there is no power beyond science. But then at the same time, I recently watched a movie, Mission Mangal. And in that, Vidya Balan plays the role of a scientist. And it's a day before the launch and it's raining heavily. So she goes and prays to God. But then her son says, "Why are you praying to God? You're a scientist. Why do you even believe in God?" So she's a scientist and she believes in God. And then there's Akshay Kumar, who is also a scientist, but he doesn't believe in God. So why do you think that, given the fact that both of them are scientists, both of them are working in the similar field, but still have different perceptions?
Science is not necessarily atheistic. This is an assumption that many have. Science is atheistic. Of course, science does not reach a certain level because it is materially constrained, because science will deal with what is materially available to us. Though in the 20th century with quantum physics, we have moved beyond this distinction between matter, spirit. At the level of quantum level, we are not really, the best kept secret by the physicists is that they have lost touch with reality. In other words, we have entered into a kind of a phantom type of a world in which wave particles dissolve. So in some way, science is reaching the realm of what religion was sitting cozy for centuries, in physics particularly. Now, in this situation, where to look at binaries, science is naturally atheistic and religion is naturally anti-science, let us say, it's not actually all right. Both can live together in humanity because, see, they belong to us. We are engaging science, we are engaging religion. So there's a meeting point not in them. They don't need each other. If you ask me, science does not need religion and religion doesn't need science. They can live together apart beautifully. And who needs them? That's the question. It is humans who are needing them, we who need them, and therefore they unite in us. And that is in different degrees. We are actually very interesting beings as humans, and we are not same in every. All of us are not same. We are unique, and our leanings to different, maybe to religion. Some of us are religious, but in different degrees. We are not religious in the same degree, even in the same family. Different people have different dispositions and beliefs and different ways of reaching to God or reaching out to society. So same way, I feel a scientist may have an orientation to God. And in India, it is most clear, most of us, see, the debate between religion and science or atheism and religion never existed in India. Atheist can be religious guy. See, in the Hindu fold, you can have an atheist and still be a Hindu. And so in India, we did not have this binary, religious and atheist. An atheist is a religious guy. If you look at Buddhism, it began, of course, now some are believing Buddha as God and others. But really speaking, Jainism, Buddhism, these are sacred formations without God. They are godless in many ways. In a very real way, they are godless. And therefore, for us Indians, we cannot get locked in a Western context of, one religious and anti-religion, anti-God in an atheistic manner. So I feel, being an Indian, the debate changes. It doesn't become.
I totally agree.
Scientists can simply be atheists and also be regarded as religious in India. If you go in the West, how can you be called religious? People will feel scandalized. Alright, I am atheist and religious. How it is possible? But in India, our logic is completely different. And so we sometimes need to also root ourselves from our context and look at ourselves. And so in the context of this, I feel the Western conflict theory is a political theory, which is happening. If you look at conflicts of science and religion, they originated in certain contexts and conflicts. And in that context, it is not that science and religion are fighting each other. It is human beings that are fighting and using science as a kind of a gun to fire religion, or religion is a bullet to fire a scientist. So, this is how it is. So, these two unite in human beings. So, I would like to end what I am saying using Fritjof Capra, the famous Fritjof Capra. We Indians are quite fond of him. When I was a student, I used to read his book. I read his book quite many times because of my PhD work. And he being a physicist, he's a physics guy, but he wrote a book called he has written several books. Okay, the Tao of Physics. The Tao of Physics. The Tao of Physics is a book which is about dialogue between Eastern mysticism and quantum physics. The Dance of Shiva is an imagery, okay, about atoms dancing, subatomic atoms, particles dancing. So he has put it in a language where there are two parallels. The mystics of our Indian ancient sages, so they could see atoms, they have a language by which they describe reality at doesn't mean that they discovered quantum physics. That would be completely wrong. I mean, it's a linguistic parallel, not real ontological, if you ask me. They could mystically speak, and we have direct access to them right now. Doesn't mean today scientists are talking from their labs and big elaborated experiments. They are actually rediscovering what they say. They are two different things, but they seem to tell us this mysticism and quantum physics have something they can learn from each other. Now, in this book, he ends the book by saying, which I said earlier, science does not need mysticism. I said religion does not need science. I modified Capra. Capra says science does not need mysticism and mysticism does not need science. It is we humans who need both. This is there in Tao of Physics.